Hello and welcome. You're watching Closing Trades here on ET Now. I'm Harsh Saita. Let's quickly look at what markets are doing. And it has been a choppy market of sorts, but we've recovered from the day's lows. That's a big positive. We've in fact touched 25,900 now. We're very close to the day's highs, and that's the positive part. 25,961 is obviously where we started, but thereafter we've seen a gash with regard to the way the market opened. And we slipped very, very quickly below the 25,800 mark as well. But we've turned around since that point, built on the gains that we did have in midday. Let's look at some of the key losers with regard to the Nifty 50 index. Asian Paints down 4% in trade today. Tech Mahindra is the other culprit, and the entire IT pack along with it. And then there's M&M and Interglobe, both of them languishing 1% plus lower. The gainers, well, in terms of the ratio of losers and gainers on the Nifty, it's gotten much better. In the morning, it was just maybe 3 or 4 stocks in the green versus 46 stocks in the red. It's changed dramatically. 21 advances to 29 declines now, with Titan, Eternal, some of the consumption names leading. But thereafter, you've got Adani, Twins, Shriram Finance, BEL. All of them have picked up some bit of steam in trade today. Now let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the broader market end of things as well. The Nifty Midcap is up around 1/3%, so showing remarkable resilience. But the Nifty Small Cap is where all of the gains are sitting. 0.8% higher on the Nifty Small Cap, doing very well for itself. So it's actually a mid-cap, small cap led market, and the advance decline is skewed towards the advances within that mid-cap and small-cap basket. You have a Tata Tele and Eris Life, a Restaurant Brands, all of them doing extremely well for themselves. Restaurant Brands is up over 6%, so doing very, very well for itself. A Triveni Engineering, a Sharda Cropchem, and Ather, Rallis, all of them are up over 5% each. Some of the losers, again, in trade, there's an Eclerc sitting 4% lower. A GR Infra is down 3% despite an order win. Sobha is down 2.5+%. Rosari Bio also down by a similar percentage. And BSE also seeing a bit of pressure, 2.5% lower on BSE as well. In terms of sectors, IT and banks is flat. IT is down over 1%, so you're seeing pressure there. But outside of that, you're seeing a bit of green, 0.7% higher on the Nifty India Defense Index. Metals are absolutely flat, but slight positive bias. PSU banks are up 1.4%. So you're starting to see a bit of a turnaround in some pockets, in some sectors. Realty also up 1% in trade. So that one also is doing fairly well for itself. And that's how the tilt is currently. Auto is down around 0.5% thereabouts. PSU banks, realty, defense are the top gainers along with FMCG, and maybe a hint with regard to where banks are concerned. So that's the way in which it's shaping up, at least at this hour. Kunal, how are you viewing markets?
Well, this is a good recovery for the indices, and not just I think for the index, but I think more importantly for the market breadth. As you were flagging off, at the start, I was looking at the market summary, and it was almost like a 350 stock advancing towards 2,350 stocks on the NSE, which were in the declining mode. So from that 1:7 kind of a advanced decline ratio, we are now in the favor of advances. We have almost like 1,900 to 2,000 stocks in the advances compared to 1,050 on the decline. So for that dramatic change to happen on an intraday basis, I think is the hallmark of the day today. What we've done also in the process of this recovery, and there was this very interesting gap which was seen on the futures on the Nifty spot levels on the daily chart, where I think the start of the month of November, there was this gap around 25,720 levels as a base and 25,800 as a higher end of this gap. That gap has been partially filled. We've seen historically also that gaps, they tend to act as strong support levels for markets. Today's candlestick pattern for the Nifty is more like a classic bullish hammer formation. A very interesting candlestick pattern, because historically this has had positive effect on the Nifty in the near term. So to sum it up, I think it looks like that the reaction today should have more positive effect for the markets in the next couple of days as well.
Okay, so positive effects. And is this even more relevant, Kunal, given that today is expiry day?
Not really, Harsh, because it's a weekly expiry, so it doesn't generally have impact on sectors as well as stocks. But yeah, I think it does have impact on the index trends per se, and specifically I think the strong psychological marks like 26,000 odd generally becomes a good hub for option writers. So today would probably be a day where maybe in the last half an hour, last 1 hour, you might see some bit of selling coming back into the indices, because index traders would probably try and protect the 26,000 mark, especially in terms of call writing perspective. But I think that's what the charm of the market is, that maybe today you might see the index go into some bit of selling pressure in the second half, but then potentially tomorrow when you start off with a fresh weekly expiry, then the chances of the Nifty scaling back to the 26,000 mark is pretty much on the higher side.